Friends, enemies, and those who haven't decided yet, welcome back. This is Jack. I know that one's a little long. I don't use it all the time, but shut up. Hey, David. Yes, we will be playing Overwatch later. I'm going to take a short break between this and my next stream because I want to eat some food. My food is cooking and it smells freaking delicious. It's just hunks of meat with onion and like some soy sauce with Worcestershire sauce. Freaking delicious. I just put it in a bowl and eat it with some chopsticks. It's so delicious. Right now my internet's being a little weird right now. It's just something simple to make, and the beef I put in there has a lot of protein in it. It's not as good as chicken for like calories versus protein, but it's good. And you know me, I do weightlifting. It's just every now and then I want beef in my meal, so I tend to have a little bit more beef than I should. And then the onions have a lot of benefits, but also, y'all can laugh at this, increases testosterone, which helps build muscle. Because I don't take any supplements, because they don't really work, and the only ones that do work, you know, have very negative side effects, like SARMs. What that does is same thing as steroids. Y'all know what steroids do. I don't take performance-enhancing drugs. The only thing the only supplement I take is creatine, and I don't even take that. I haven't been on that in a little bit either. And creatine just helps your body retain water, so that your muscles just look bigger. And I don't think it also helps you heal a bit. And monohydrate creatine is supposed to be good, I guess. I don't know. I'm like, y'all look at me. I'm not super ripped or anything like that, so to take my opinion with a grain of salt. I'm just, right now my biggest problem is my body weight's like, my body weight is between 30 and 40%, which makes any muscle gain really hard to see. So if you see me flex and show any muscle at all, that's actually more impressive than it should be. Like when I do my bicep every so often, that's actually impressive. Hey Moonfire, this is gonna be a short one. I can't guarantee how long I'll be going. More or less comes down to like if I get any topics I really want to rant about. There's only one that I have that I found that because it's freaking hilarious. I was scrolling through Facebook and this came up and I'm like, I gotta talk about this, and it's too long for it to be short. Actually, I'll probably end up making a short about this anyway, just because do like the exaggerated side, like really. All right. And my food just finished. I hear my Instapot going off. By the way, if you don't have one and you have like your own kitchen and stuff, get an Instapot. I can make like hamburger helper in it, no issue. You just toss the stuff in there, set it to saute, and then you put it in for like as a stew or a soup for the recommended time. Really good. You're playing Yu-Gi-Oh right now, I'm guessing? Which I downloaded Magic the Gathering Arena again. I'll probably get into that. I'll probably delay playing Yu-Gi-Oh just because I don't like how intense the meta gets in Yu-Gi-Oh. Mind you, Magic the Gathering's pretty bad about it too when you get to a certain point. Alright. We're about to hop on Duel Links. Duel Links is not too bad. I played that for a good minute too. I'm like a couple years behind on that. The only reason I didn't like it is because it's at 3 and 3. 3 summons, 3 magics. But the matches are a hell of a lot faster, which is nice. You have half the health. That's nice. Anyway, I wanted to cover this story at least. Steam will finally let you hide your adult games. So, meaning if you get games like Honey Pop, as they talk about there, Corruption of Champions, you name it, or some adult VR games or whatever, you can now hide it in your Steam library. You know, that's great. You know, like, if I'm scrolling through my Steam library with, like, my parents standing over my shoulder, which my dad wouldn't give a flying fuck, or my friends, no one's gonna see it. Or if I do it on stream, because I do it all the time, no one's gonna see it. No one's gonna care. Here's my problem with this conversation. I'll have to take a look. Here's my problem with this conversation. Here's my problem. Hang on. Let me go to Steam. I gotta be careful so you guys don't accidentally get to see something you shouldn't. So here's the thing. So say if I wanted to hide my Lords of the Fallen here. Say I wanted to hide, wrong button. I wanted to hide my Lords of the Fallen, okay? Go over to my Lords of the Fallen, right click. Let's see here. Hide this game. Hide this game. It's a feature that already exists. So what are they adding? It's already a thing. You go up to view, and then you can reveal your hidden games, which I will freaking not hit. I want y'all to see my adult games. I do have adult games. I'm not gonna lie to you. So like, I don't know what's the point of that article. It's already a thing. What is Steam adding? Like, what could they possibly add that's like, oh hey, guess what? We're making a new feature. All right, I want to see if y'all are actually interested. So there is the Amnesia: The Dark Descent VR mod that I did a video on. I don't know if I'm just gonna do a review on it, or if you guys want to see me like do a little bit of a let's play, because I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I've already beaten the game once, and that game is freaking terrifying and stressful. Gotta check to make sure I'm alive on both sides, because okay, so YouTube is fine. Um, all right, now that I got that story out of the way, I do want to talk about some positive stuff because I'm a firm believer you have to talk about your wins, okay? And I don't have too much on Overwatch because I'm still stuck in Bronze 5. But I want to talk about some wins I've got going on. So on my Coffee Over Gaming channel, which is the channel I'm streaming on YouTube right now, if you haven't already subscribed there, I'm at 887, 878. Like, I've had a massive growth in just the last growth in the last couple of days, and I'm really happy about that. And I've mentioned the reason why Coffee Over Gaming means so much to me is so for one, Jack Daedalus is like a 3-year-old channel, which I'm really proud of. I have a lot of fun streaming in there. I've made some great friends doing the stream there, and I learned a lot. Like, I learned a lot doing the Let's Plays on there. But I went like 2 years and had like 200 and some odd subscribers. I went 1 year on Coffee Over Gaming and had already broke 500 at some point. That's a lot of growth right there. And two, the only reason that Jack Daedalus is actually over 1,000 right now, over 1,000, is because I got hit by a bot network. Either somebody paid for them to raid me, or they were trying to do it to convince me to keep paying them. So, like, those numbers aren't real. And subscribers are pointless. In fact, they can hurt you if no one's watching your videos. If you release a video and your subscribers aren't watching your videos, it's going to hurt your numbers. So that's actually hurt me more than it helped me. The only way it helped me is I got monetized, which is garbage anyway, if you're not getting views. So that's why Coffee Over Gaming means so much to me. The only reason Coffee Over Gaming is not monetized right now is because I don't have the watch hours, which is part of the reason I started streaming on here. So I just wanted to talk about my successes with my community because it does mean a lot to me. And once again, I want to give a shout out to David for being the first new subscriber I've had in a long time on Twitch. It means a lot. David's great. David's also been helping me learn a lot with Overwatch. That also means a lot to me. Shout out to David for that. I believe in celebrating my successes, and I believe in calling out those people who've been helping me. Y'all been great. And not to mention on Coffee Over Gaming, I've been getting some comments on my videos that actually have been very nice and very supportive, which makes me really happy. People thanking me for my insight on comic books, people enjoying that I talk about comic books, stuff like that. So it means a lot. It makes me really happy. And I believe my generation has a bad habit of not talking about the positive things. And this just happens to be one of them that's going on in my life. My fitness is going pretty good. My body is sore as hell. I need to get my 10,000 steps in. I was thinking about being on the treadmill while doing this, because I can move the treadmill, raise my desk because I have a standing desk, right to the desk, and then walk on the treadmill while I'm doing this, but I decided not to, because I woke up not too long ago, and so my legs aren't fully working yet. At least that's what I'm going to say. I'll just have to get the 10,000 steps in later. Yesterday I went into Portland. It was a lot of fun. Went out with two of my friends, Shay and Josh, and then I met up with my other friend, Daniel. It was a lot of fun. We went out, played Monster Hunter Now, went out to a massive bookstore called Powell's. If y'all not from the Portland area, Powell's is a local bookstore. It's got a couple of smaller bookstores of theirs nearby, but their main branch is like a 5-story tall bookstore. I think it's 5 stories. It might be 4. Either way, massive. And if they don't have the book you want, you will find it. They will get it for you. They also sell like local publisher books. So if like you write a book and you want it published, you can give it to them and they will publish it for you. It's a great bookstore, and they will buy books back from you, but I think it's credit only. I could be mistaken. But it's a great store. Whenever there's been a riot, I'm gonna call it a riot, a protest where there is a site of riot out in this area, Powell's is protected. You will have protesters stand a guard around, like Powell's is one of the places. So you have bookstores being protected, and I freaking love it. Because whenever there's a riot that happens with the protests, Like Burger Kings and McDonald's get hit all the time, you know, like companies like that or Subways, but like local businesses, they're protected. You do not touch them. So I don't know how y'all feel about that. I'm not going to go into the politics of it, of like what the protests are, but that's just something that I do find unique about the area. I do have my opinions on. Obviously, I don't like riots. I don't like violence. But I understand why it's there. Martin Luther King had a great comment. He said, "Riots are the language of those who are not being listened to," or something like that. He said, I can't remember exactly how he phrased it. Um, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Um, so I'm watching Baki again. Like it's something I like. I love listening to like martial arts and fighting mangas and animes while I'm on the treadmill, or like when I'm working out in general, just because it's highly motivating. And it's just getting more and more exhausting hearing they just ramp up the idea of what a man is and testosterone is. It's just annoying. Trying to catch up with One Piece. Ooh, where you at? Where you at? That's a very important deal. I haven't finished watching the live action yet. I need to. I really need to, especially when I'm on the treadmill. I can play it no issue. I just got to redone watching Chernobyl, which actually is something I want to talk about with that. Chernobyl as an event is bonkers, and then the Amazon live action series they did was also just crazy. There's like one episode I have to skip though. Punk Hazard, you're at a good spot. Things are about to get more crazy. My only problem is with like up till Wano, which is the most recent arc, you don't see Zoro do shit at all. Like you see him fight a couple times, but he doesn't flex. You don't get to see him actually fight serious. The whole time he'll put on his bandana and it's like, all right, fight's over. You don't get to see him go all out until Wano. Spoilers on that, by the way, because Zoro's my favorite character. That's why it's a big deal to me. You don't see him flex in the Fishman Islands. You don't see him flex in Punk Hazard. You don't see him flex in Dressrosa. And he doesn't show up in the next arc. That would have been 4. You don't see him fight. You don't see him fight in around the Big Mom fight because he's not even in it. So you don't see him fight until Wano, and that's when you finally get to see him flex, and you're like, oh my god, like he's insane. It's all centered around like Sanji and Luffy's growth, which is fine. I'm fine with that. The Zoro fighting is a whole nother category. Mind you, Sanji gets some great moments coming up. Actually, every character gets some great moments coming up, all varying degrees. Luffy, of course, gets the most crazy ones because y'all know Gear 5 and all that good stuff. There's a story I keep wanting to make a short about or a video about talking about, but I keep stopping myself. Um, Berserk. In case y'all don't know, I'm a big fan of Berserk. I want to make a prop version of the Dragon Slayer, which is Guts' sword. It's gonna be made of foam, but I got cardboard, big pieces of cardboard over there that I'm gonna trace the outline for, and then use that as the centerpiece to make my sword. Anyway, um, there's a remake of it, like an animated remake of it, not live action, because that would be very hard to do. But an animated remake of it that's being done by fans. It's a fan-made version of it, which gives me hope, because it's one of those made by fans for fans kind of moments. That's what made One Piece live action so successful. Is not only was Oda directly involved, but clearly everyone involved is a fan of the series. You see the guy who plays Luffy, and you're like, that guy's Luffy. Like you just hear him talking like that guy's Luffy. The guy who played Sanji, he talks about having to learn to kick properly. Like he was into it. Like he wanted to do it. They made, and I love how they did Zoro. Like they made him incredibly serious, like they're supposed to. Like the one weird thing is him not wanting to call out his attack names because he's just as guilty of doing it. But it also, I'm like, it kind of fits. It kind of fits with him. Like, why are you calling out your tech name? All great fighters call it. Yeah, you're part of the crew. um, I do like how I'm on the fence about how they changed it, but I do enjoy that they changed the Batier arc because you don't have whatever his name was. I can't even remember it. You don't have him anymore, but you have Mihawk show up and he's the big bad. Like I did enjoy that. I don't know why I don't like the actor who plays Shanks. He just doesn't look right to me. He just doesn't look right. But mind you, it's a translation from animated to live action, so it's kind of hard to translate. But anyway, let me talk about Chernobyl because I wanted to. This is a little bit of a depressing but epic conversation. So for those who don't know, and I don't know how you don't, Chernobyl is a testament or is a statement people make whenever they want to talk bad about nuclear power. Ignoring the fact that Chernobyl required an absolute perfect combination of mess up. Cause they were caused with so what started it was they were wanting to do a safety test. So the safety test was, and this is to my understanding, I'm not a nuclear physicist or anything, this is what I know. They were trying to test, so there is a problem that the water needs to keep flowing through the system. And if there was ever a power outage at the power plant, there was like a minute delay between the diesel pumps kicking in and the main power going out, which means there would be about a minute of no water in the system. So there was a backup measure to do it. They wanted to see if it worked. And 3 times they tested it and it failed, like they couldn't do it. The 4th time is what happened on the 4th test. And so doing the test by itself wouldn't have been an issue. Well, the problem was they were originally scheduled to do it like during the day, but they didn't get approval to do it during the day, so they had to do it at night. Wouldn't be a problem except for they were throttling the engine down to a really low level. And what this did is it built up I want to say it's a gas, but it's called xenon, which under normal circumstances at higher engine rate, it would just burn it off like it's nothing. But because it was throttled so low, it was just building up. So that's the first chain in the mistakes. The next part of it was when they go to do the test, they start throttling it down like they're supposed to, which means more xenon is building up. Now, because the combination of stuff that's supposed to control it versus burn it are messed up, it's already going to start losing power rapidly. So then they try to throttle it back up, and then it starts igniting the xenon en masse. So to try and stop it, they try to drop the control rods, which is basically you applying the brakes to this engine. Now, under normal circumstances, on most engines, apparently, this would have been fine. This was the emergency oh shit button. The problem is, the way the control rods were designed is the first thing to go in was not something that would stop it, it was lead, which throttles it instead. So basically, when you try to apply the brakes, you have to hit the gas first. Now, once again, under normal circumstances, this would not have been too much of an issue. But because of the combination of everything else going on, the control rods didn't go fully in. So the only thing that was going in was the lead. So gas got stuck, brakes are not being applied, and it just provided an infinite loop of it building until badoosh. That's what happened. So I said all that so you guys understand the basics of what happened. This is a combination of human error, government secrets preventing like this problem from being fixed, and just science and design flaw. It was just the perfect combination. That's why I'm like, nuclear power is actually not that dangerous if handled correctly. It's one of those things you don't want to cut costs, which is why I'm like, it shouldn't be a private industry. If you're going to build nuclear power plants, it's got to be government where you can spend as much money as you want building it. And then regulation upon regulation has to be behind it. Anyway, that's another conversation. So flash forward to like when they were trying to deal with the issue. There are 2 specific spots in the stories I really am baffled by. At one point, they found out that basically lava had been created. Radioactive lava had been created. Now, they thought they had time to deal with it, like a month or 2 to deal with it, because the water pumps were supposed to be empty, because they had drained them. The problem is, during the initial fire, the firefighters had kept spraying water in. And then on top of that, the hoses were still going because the firefighters got sick and were dying. Because by the way, it was a cold night, so they were picking up these hot rocks off the ground, which, by the way, was the lead that was heavily radiated. Longer story on that. So anyway, the water was filling the tanks, so the tanks were actually still full. And if the lava had hit the tanks, you would have had a massive steam explosion, which would have destroyed all of Europe and most of Russia. It would have been gone, uninhabitable for 1,000+ years. I actually almost want to write a story about what would have happened if that did happen. It would have been interesting. Short story to do. Anyway. So, they had 2 days. 2 days to deal with this. And the only solution they had was to drain the pumps. The problem is, most of the people who would have known off the top of their head where they're at were dead. They died in the explosion. There were a few that vaguely had an idea, and they needed a volunteer. And they said, you're swimming in radioactive water. Your chances of even reaching this is slim. There's no lights, you're going in with a flashlights. and you have to swim, you're going to die. You might die before you even get to your destination. And 3 people volunteered. They're known as the Chernobyl Liquidators. There's actually more than just 3, because almost everybody who was involved are referred to as Chernobyl Liquidators, but these are the 3. And they did it. They went in, swam, knowing they were going to die, and found the needle in the haystack in near perfect dark. The needle in the haystack that was the valve. And saved Europe and Russia. Here's where it gets bonkers. They lived. Not only did they live from the trip, only recently has any of them died, and it was like one of them's dead. The other 2 are, as of me researching this, are still alive. So these guys swam in highly radioactive water, saved Europe and Russia, and got to live. I don't believe in a higher power. I'm not atheist. I'm just something else. But I feel that if there is a God, he looked down and said, you know what, you guys just saved a lot of lives. I'm going to let you have this one. That's just amazing to me. I love it. And then the second story is, at one point they had to dig underneath to basically create a radiator around it to keep it, try and cool everything down, keep it cool. And this is another one of those situations of you're going to die. It's not going to be in 5 minutes. It's going to be in like a year or 2. You're going to die, or a decade or 2. You're going to die. Your life is going to get shortened. And they went and pulled a bunch of coal miners who they figured out real quickly what's going on. They figured out they're going to get sick and die. Now the problem is they're going into these mines to dig, and it's hot as hell in there. They can't have fans going because it's going to make the radioactive stuff come in. But they're being told to wear these anti-radioactive stuff, which is heating them up even more. And they're like, we're going to die anyway. This is not going to extend our lives very long. They actually started digging nude. They fully knew they were going to die, and they're like, you know what? We're saving a lot of lives here. We're fine with it. Plus, we dig coal. Our lives are going to be short anyway. And it's another one of those, like... Russia oddly had the perfect combination of everything going wrong with like the state and the government, but a people who have a philosophy of self-sacrifice. Because you look at it during World War II, you have the Battle of Stalingrad, where they were willing to be a meat grinder to try and save as many people as they could. But then you also have during Chernobyl these civilians who are like, I know I'm going to die from doing this, but it's going to save more lives. And it's just a weird combination. But then you also have on the state side where they're not wanting to admit mistakes, admit how much they messed up to fix the issue. Instead, they all worry about saving face. Because there's like an example where they got Germany to build them a robot that was supposed to be able to help them remove the lead off the top of the building. But the state, when asking Germany to build this, would not admit how high the radiation was. So the robot fried almost immediately. So it's like a weird combination. I don't imagine here in America us being able to have that. I know Japan had something similar during Fukushima, which required like a level 10 tsunami or whatever to cause, where you had a bunch of like 60-plus-year-old people showing up like, let me help. I've lived a good life. Let me fix this. I don't want the younger people to sacrifice themselves. And it's just crazy to me. Just this idea of these people wanting to sacrifice themselves for the greater good like that. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I just can't guarantee I would. You know, you're like, oh, you served in the military. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I actually could bring myself to do it. Not because I'd like to believe I would. I feel in my heart I would. But I don't know. Until you're in that moment, you don't know. I do know when I'm in a flight, freeze, or fight scenario, I'm usually fight. I get pissed off and punch things. But I just wanted to talk about that because it's amazing. Like, the story of these people doing these amazing things is just amazing to me. Now, once again, I'm not a nuclear physicist. I'm not a historian. There are probably some details I've messed up. But if you can, you've got Amazon Prime already. It's on Amazon Prime. It's like a 5-episode series, like each one's an hour. There's only one episode I have to skip, and it's when they have to cull the food chain there. They have to start killing a bunch of animals, and a lot of them are like dogs that people had left behind, and I can't watch it. I can't watch it. I can't watch dogs getting killed. I don't care what the genre is. I just can't. Dogs and cats. Like, if it's a cow, I'm not fazed by it because it's kind of what its purpose is. Horse depends on the movie, but for the most part, I'm fine with it. Dogs and cats, can't watch it. Pet Cemetery, I have to skip the scene where the cat gets hit by the truck. Um, but after that, I'm fine. I'm okay, more okay with humans dying, but animals, no, can't do it. Every time I see a cat die, it makes me think of my buddy Zane. Every time I see a dog die, it makes me think of all my little buddies I've had throughout my life, my little furry babies. Um, my dog I had named Frisky growing up. Stuff like that. Dog lived for like 14 years. Took a semi truck to take his ass out. Um, but he meant the world to me, and he's gone. But yeah, I don't know what would have happened to him if he had lived past me going into the Navy, though. To be honest, because that was about the time I was graduating high school and going into the military. All right, enough depressing stuff. My dishwasher is going. All right, so I want to talk about this. So I picked up a new VR game or two. This was on sale, so I picked it up. Thrill of the Fight, and it's actually a lot of fun. It gets my heart rate up like hell, but it's supposed to be like a more realistic way of playing a VR game, because there's another one, I forget what it's called, like Superstar Boxing or whatever, and that one is like very scripted, and it's like, okay, whatever. This one is supposed to be more real, where you can fight the way you want. If you have a larger room, you can actually move around the arena. I don't get that luxury yet. But you can block, you can punch, all that good stuff, and like there's the sweet spots you can practice to hit. It actually measures how hard you're hitting. I've been playing for more than 6 minutes. I don't know why it says 6 minutes, but the game is a lot of fun. So if you yeah. So if you've got a VR system, Oculus, Steam, doesn't matter, whatever the Steam's is called. Go ahead and pick it up. I know it's Meta Quest 2 or whatever. It's Oculus. I'm always going to call it Oculus. I do recommend picking up. It's like $10. It's not even that expensive on Steam. It's like $10. Yeah, it's $10. And that's not even on sale. It's $10. There is another game that was bundled with it that I picked up called Virtual Championship Fighter. You can fight other players in it, and it's like super exaggerated. It's whatever. It's still cool. Don't get me wrong. But this game is something I do recommend, especially if you're trying to work out in VR. 100% get it. $10, good investment. I really do look forward to what's going to happen with VR, because you're seeing a lot of the fan-made stuff and the indie studios make stuff. I'm waiting for like one of the AAA studios to get a hold of it and make an original game in VR, because you have like MMO-wise, you have Zenith, and you have, I forget the name of the other game. I picked it up too, but they're both MMOs in VR, and they're interesting. They do a good job. Zenith I had a lot of fun with, and I hurt my back playing it because I played the dual swording class where you have two swords, and just me swinging my swords for hours playing that game, like, it was a hell of a workout. They got a bow weapon now, so that motion now. These are all great games for working out. And of course you have Beat Saber. That's a lot of fun. Especially if you get the mods in so you can put in whatever song you want. But no, as I was saying, VR's got a lot of potential coming up. I see a lot of potential. I'm waiting for somebody to make legit VR movies. You can't walk around in the movie, but you can look in all directions and see what's going on. So if a fight breaks out, if you're not looking in the right direction, you'll miss it entirely. If a character's about to get assassinated, if you look in the right direction, you'll see the assassin coming. Just stuff like that. Like someone legitimately making a VR movie, not where you're like, it's got the telescopic thing where you can look left and right, but where you're in the center of the action looking around. I think that would be beyond crazy. I don't think you could do it in live action yet, but you can. It would take somebody like the Wachowski sisters, who invented like the whole Matrix bullshit, to do it. If I was good enough with if I was good enough with game programming, I'd 100% do it. Just make a tech demo to prove it's possible. But I'm only learning Unreal, and most VR projects are done in Unity, and I have no interest in touching Unity. Just the way, because of the kafuckery they've been doing lately. I need to watch my language. At least on this channel, I don't care about on Jack Daedalus. But then there's also some of these games on here that have their own benefits. So like you have No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a VR game. You can play it in VR. Your save files transfer over both directions. So if you want to play it in VR one day and then with a controller the next, you can do that just fine. And there's a whole nother, and this is like one of the few VR games I tell you to sit down to play because like piloting makes it a lot easier. But there's just a whole nother thing of piloting a game and piloting a ship in VR. It's a lot of fun. Um, let's see here. Phasmophobia is another one of those VR games that transfers over back and forth. I've played a bit with Gothic. Let's see here. I'm gonna go to my VR collection because I have that all separated out. There's some games that go back and forth. Don't get this game. As much as I want to play it, it requires a lot of. It requires assets I don't have. I think you need. Even though I bought it through the Oculus store at one point, I still couldn't move or do anything, so I had to return it. Devour is another one of those you can go both directions from. That one's interesting. Blair Witch VR is probably one of the scariest VR games I've played. I played the original Blair Witch, so I wasn't too scared. This is a modded Resident Evil 7. Don't get this one. Even if you see it on sale, unless you're wanting to play it non-VR, don't buy it for VR reasons. Because you're in VR, but you still control it with a controller, which is bullshit to me. That's not VR. Screw off. This is a good zombie killing one right here. On the other side of the coin, this is basically Left 4 Dead, except for VR. So if that's your cup of tea. This is Zenith I was talking about right here. And this is probably one of the greatest ones for a workout for me. It's a roguelite VR game. And it's a hell of a workout. Like, you will break a sweat playing this game. Your back will hurt from you swinging your weapons. It is really good. Have they done a new update since I last played? Yeah, the last one was the two-handed weapon update back in March, which is just fine. The two-handed weapons are great. I love it. I haven't touched Tin Can in a while. What Tin Can is, you're basically like in an escape pod. It's both a VR game and not, but basically you're trying to keep your escape pod from blowing up. And if you're in VR, you get to actually turn the knobs and stuff. Requisition VR, it's whatever. I'm trying to see all the other one. Pistol Whip is also another interesting beat game, except for using a either usually a dual set of pistols or just one. And they show you the lines of where the bullets are going to be, and you have to dodge out of the way so you don't get hit. And you either try to pistol whip your opponent, which gives you bonus points, or you hit them. The only reason that's not installed right now is because Elysia was the other VR MMO. Is because when I had to rebuild my computer, I'm missing a hard drive, so I don't have the space for it. Into the Radius is a good realistic horror survival game. Hang on, I gotta read this. This is actually something big to me. We are now seeing the future of the Radius. We were confident about this, what we planned. Mod support has been requested by our community long, so we were excited to bring it to you as a final send-off of ITR 1. However, as months went by, working on different ports, the sequels, and mod support, the team was spread too thin. Not modding in mind, it made development. Okay, so they're just not doing the mod, and they're doing a sequel. Okay. But no, the game itself is really good. It's rather scary, and like it's really realistic in that you have to do maintenance on your weapons. And it doesn't have so a lot of shooting games have they're very forgiving on your accuracy, so you'll hit things you shouldn't have hit. Into the Radius does not. In Death, that's another great workout one. You use a bow or a crossbow to move. Use it both. It's the only teleport game that I've actually enjoyed. But you have to shoot a special or throw a special knife to teleport to locations, and then you're just firing the arrows to take out your opponents. It's really good. It is really good. And then Grimlord is trying to be a Dark Souls VR game, which I've already beaten all they've released, but it's good. I do enjoy it. But anyway, these are just some of my VR suggestions. If you're playing Doom VSR, I'm on the fence about. Do not get Fallout 4 VR. Do not. Do not. Unless you see it like on a $3 sale, do not get it if you're into VR. Because you might as well just play regular Fallout 4. Like you have so little you can freaking do in the game. There are mods that try to fix it, but they take forever to set up. And then they're still jank as hell. The Force VR is a good one, because that's both a non-VR and a VR game. I'm hoping they do it with Sons of the Force, too. Anyway, I've given you all the VR games I'd recommend if you're trying to get into VR, especially if you're trying to get a workout in. Let's do this. Oh, and there's also Minecraft VR you can do. That's a mod, and it's free. Just have Minecraft. Anybody got any topic they want to bring up to me? I'm not about to close down. I'm just wanting to see if anybody's got anything you want me to talk about. I do gotta eat. That food smells good. Nothing? Alright. I think I got some stories set aside I was gonna talk about. Hang on, let me check. Here's one. I made a short talking about this. We're gonna talk about it here. Yes, I'm on Threads, by the way. That's where I got the thing saved. Alright. So we're getting a live-action Zelda series, and someone made a great comment about, could you, because one, Link can't talk. If he talks in it, I'm going to have issues. And I also think he needs to be beat up by chickens at some point. But could you imagine being the director, turning to the actor, going, all right, Link, you're only allowed to say, huh, yeah, and yeah? That's just a funny concept to me. Just like, that's what you got to do. It's... Now, the question people have raised is, who would play Link? Who could play Link? And I'm like, it's going to be an actor we've never seen before. It's kind of like how they did One Piece. It was an actor we just haven't heard of. Because a lot of people joke it's going to be Tom Holland, but one, he's a big name right now. And two, I don't think he'd want to do it. And obviously I don't know who would play Zelda. The only one I'm curious, like the only one I want to know is who's playing Ganon. That's the one I want to know. Because the way they did Ganon in Tears of the Kingdom, I freaking loved it. Except for one scene, I freaking loved it. They did amazing. It's probably the greatest boss fight in all of Zelda series with Ganon. It is hands down the best. Because in all the other playthroughs, you forget that Ganon is a master swordsman, that he is one of the best fighters out there. Until you fight him in there, and he's straight up fighting you as a swordsman. For the most part. There's an exception near the end. I do have some issues with the main story of Tears of the Kingdom, but Tears of the Kingdom, if you're playing it, don't play it for the story, play it for the gameplay. Because the ability to build things, especially during boss fights and stuff, I love it. Because if y'all haven't seen on my Jack Daedalus channel, I have videos of some of the random stuff I built, like my death laser cannon. I even know how to make the mech thing. I don't like it because it's pointless. I'd rather build my tank. But no, it's great. Tears of the Kingdom is great. Literally the only reason I'm not playing it anymore is because my older sibling is because my older sibling has my Nintendo Switch. Now here's the question: what type of Batmobile did you get? Did you build? Because you have like the original like 1980s TV show versus like the crawler you get in the more recent ones. Dark Knight. Okay, there you go. Making a motorcycle is always fun because you have the pedestal things that always keep you upright. Those are very handy for a lot of builds. I used to think they were stupid, and then I started playing with them like, oh, this is important. I just wish Nintendo didn't have a stick up their ass. Oh, nice. I just wish Nintendo didn't have a stick up their ass about mods, because I could 100% seeing someone making a PC mod version of it where it takes off a lot of the shackles that the Nintendo Switch puts on it, so you could put build things with more on them. But yeah, once again, Nintendo's got sticks up their ass about it, and that annoys the hell out of me. Because if like, they will straight up sue you. If you make a mod and distribute it, they will sue you. If you play a modded, even if you're not selling, but if you play a modded Nintendo game on stream or make a let's play of it, they will copyright strike you to oblivion and back. Like, Nintendo is evil about that. And I'm afraid Capcom might go the same way after the recent Street Fighter thing, where someone played with a new Chun-Li. Which, I'm freaking pissed at that player. He should have known better. He knew this was a public event, and yet he did it anyway. Now, on the side of Dark Souls, like, we're going to change up the topic a little bit. There's rumors that they're doing another game already. Like, they're already working on another game along with the Elden Ring expansion, which I'm looking forward to. Who isn't? And they're talking, it sounds like it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive. Hey, I got my PS5 right there. I'm going to play it. And two, it sounds like they're going to be doing more Cthulhu-esque kind of stories, and it might actually involve water. because that's what it's sounding like. That's what a lot of rumors have been floating about. Floating. That's not my roommate. 2 hours and 30 minutes. All right, let's see here. I think I got a couple more topics, and then I'm gonna dip out. Let's talk Blizzard. Let's talk Blizzard. I don't care about the World of Warcraft stuff, so I'm not gonna talk about that unless somebody got something they want to bring to the table. Um, so let's talk about their successes. Something I'm happy about. One, the fact that they released the tank character for early access for people to for everybody, not just people who have like a season pass on, but everybody to check out, is both professionally a smart idea and socially a smart idea. What they did was that allowed people to know what was coming and enjoy it, the idea of playing him, and start coming up with counters to him, which is very important. So it allows them to do a turnaround of him being in comp a lot easier. Because in bronze play, he's king. You can't beat him in bronze play. And probably silver and higher, he's what I'm hearing, he's not as intimidating. But in bronze play, he's unstoppable. So that's something. Yeah. And that's just something. Oh, now there's a counter to the horse, which is good. But no, that's good right there. That's something gorgeous right there that they did that. That showed a really strong community sense. Now, on the professional side, what made it smart is that's going to encourage more people to get the premium season pass next season because you get him immediately. So that makes sense. That's not a bad idea. So business-wise, that's a smart idea, and socially, that's a good idea. The other thing I'm really happy about, yeah, I get him. There was only one season I didn't get, and that's because I skipped the season. That was with the not the Final Fantasy, the fantasy one, the D&D one that they did with Tracer being the reward. One, I don't care about Tracer. Two, I was pissed at Overwatch at the time, so I didn't want to play anyway. So I skipped that season. But anyway, it encourages people to get the season pass. The other thing is, because y'all see me playing comp, I'm really happy they're going to give real status reports on what you need to improve to advance. That makes me happy. That makes me as happy as when they started being more open about the people they banned from being reported. Because I've mentioned this before. Me and Gothic were playing. I don't know if it was off stream. I think we were doing comp, and because we were trying to get her one more match to see if she ranked up, which she didn't, unfortunately. And we had two Smurfs on the opposing team in both matches. In 2 matches in a row, they were there. It was a Sombra and a Doomfist who sat the whole time in front of our spawn. The whole time. And we reported them after the first match. And the second match, like 3/4 of the way through the match, they suddenly disconnected, were gone. And we stomped the opposing team because it was down to 3v4 because one of our guys had left. And mind you, it might as well have been a 3v3 because our other healer, the Anna, had healed like 1,000 points throughout the whole match and had spent the last part of the match complaining about me, saying that you pulled me out of spawn at one point, like, yes, to get you away from the Doomfist, but you got me killed because you stood there. And I almost want to pull up that match and show you guys, but I don't remember where it was, and it was a while back. It's probably deleted by now. But I've messed up now. But yeah, Smurfs, so they started like sending you reports when somebody we report gets banned or kicked. Because I'd actually straight blocked them too, but they still showed up in my next match. So that's been something that was really nice. But my biggest problem with Overwatch is I encounter so many Smurfs. Like people who are obviously Smurfs, not subtly, obviously. Playing on a level that they should not, like, you should not be in Bronze 5 with this level of gameplay. The lowest tier, and you're playing at least Silver. And more often than not, you'll either see it being a Doomfist or a Genji. Those are the 2 most obvious. Like, that's my biggest problem with Overwatch is you'll encounter the Smurfs. It's rare that I get a person who actually turns on hacks. Like, and when they do, it's incredibly obvious. Like, we had a Widowmaker who, like, exclusively shot headshots. They had over 50 kills. Because anytime someone rounded a corner, they were already headshot. The only time they didn't is if My Life Weaver had pulled them, so they were bubbled at the time. or various other like occasions. Like Gothic was playing Sigma, so she'd catch the bullets. And then they had their Mercy just buffing them the whole time, so their whole team knew they were cheating and didn't care. They were mocking us. That pissed me off. So that's the successes with Overwatch. Diablo 4, sorry. They're talking more with their community about what people want from the season pass and from the seasonal stories. And that makes me happy. Like, I don't care that there's a season pass. I don't care that there's a seasonal story. I do play it a bit, but I have no inclination to get to level 100. Though, one thing they did do was they made it easier to get the legendaries you want. Before, it was like a relatively rare drop at almost any level. But now, if you want the uniques, especially, they're more farmable. I have a 12-hour stream on Jack Daedalus of me trying to get one druid drop. One specific one for the record. And I never got it by the end of the stream. People paid for me to stop. I'm not joking. I think Trickster and Pepe paid me to stop because I set a $20 limit. And now it's much easier, even to get the uber rare or uber uniques, which have like a 1 in a million chance of dropping. So, but you have to farm like the stupid high creatures for it. So it makes sense. It's fair. It's fine. But no, this season has been relatively good on Diablo 4. I might start playing that on stream again, just because it is a lot of fun. I do enjoy it. I just don't know what class I'd play because I don't think I'm burnt out on Druid. I never because Druid is just so interesting. Barbarian, you have to keep track of so many things that makes me not want to play Barbarian on stream. Same with like almost all the classes, you have to track a lot of things. Druids, you don't have to. You really don't have to. And the reason why I'm saying Barbarian you have to is because not only do you have to pay attention to your rage, but for the Arsenal ability, if you're following it, you have to switch which weapon you're using each time. Your two-handed sharp, your hammer, your two-handed blunt, and your dual-wielded weapons. You have to switch them to keep the bonus going, which is not too difficult. It's just tedious to keep track of. But they're talking. They're talking with the community. They already talked about the new expansion coming late next year, which is getting us a new class, a class we've never seen. Because people were hoping for Witch Doctor and Paladin to drop. I was hoping for Monk. Not happening, because Monk was like a one game thing. But that's awesome. I do enjoy that. Anyway, last call for topics. Anybody got anything you want me to talk about? And yeah, I do the surveys, by the way. When Blizzard sends me a survey, I always answer. Cheese, cheddar cheese. Usually sharp, but occasionally I prefer mild. Now, mind you, I'll do mozzarella if it's being thrown over my salads. Mozzarella, I'm thinking of. Spy game. Oh yes. So, speaking of Cool Walker, he runs a spy game we'll be doing later tonight, unless I freaking die, which is entirely possible. I'm due for another depression episode. But we'll be doing the spy game tonight. I play a punching character. You can check him out on Cool Walker. You can drop your link to your channel if you want. I'm in it. Gothic's in it. A few of our friends are in it. I play a punching character. We're spy characters in Russia doing a thing and some stuff. I'm a punching character. My character's lore is that I was basically bought as a child to be in these death arenas, and my character recently got free, like within the last 2 years. So he's like really like weird social. Sorry, I had a piece of dead skin. I was curious. Um, let's see here. Yeah, that sums it up. It's over on Cool Walker's channel. Gothic will be there too. Should be 7 p.m. my time, 8 p.m. my time. I can't remember right now. Drain not working. I want to say it was 8 p.m. my time. Either way, subscribe to his channel, turn on the bell. You'll get notified when I go live. When he goes live, sorry. If you're in the Geeks Perspective channel, you'll get a notification there too. Not in the Jack Dados one. That's all me. Although I might share it there too because I'm in it. So All right, I'm gonna hop out. 30 minutes from now, I'll be going live on the Jack Daedalus YouTube channel, and if you're on Twitch, you'll see me here as always. We'll be doing Quest Out of Bronze. I'll probably have David there because he plays. Cool Walker, I don't know if you're going to be joining me for Quest Out of Bronze now that you got it installed on PC. Gothic might join. That's a 50-50 shot. The last I saw, she was playing Texas Chainsaw, which is good to see her playing because I bought that for her a while back. I hadn't seen her play her. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat my food. Probably about 30 minutes. I'll go live. If it's any longer than that, it's because something came up. Probably got stuck watching the news because a lot's going on right now. I'm not gonna talk. It's all politics stuff. So that's not the point of this channel. I really do need to start streaming all my coffee over politics channel. Anyway,